Okay, so I'm Lou Martin, and my YouTube channel is Awakened Spirits Network, and I have the great pleasure of being back with my new friend Gerard Banks, who is creating and co-creating Hands Across Cork, or as he's calling it now, the beautiful new gathering. Is that it, Ger?
That's what it's being commonly referred to at the moment anyway, people are just talking about the beautiful gathering coming up in Cork. And that's lovely. That's great. And as I said, now I've elderly people now coming to me who are saying that they before they would have been scared to come into the city to get involved, but now they feel safe and welcome to get involved in the Hands Around Cork, which is great. Which is
Yes.
great. So it adds a new dynamic as well to the city. And you're also going to have a lot of shamanic practitioners and all that like-minded people too as well. So it's going
Sure.
to be a beautiful vibe, and a lot of people are forgetting too as well that Cork are in the Munster hurling final that day too as well.
Oh boy.
So that there's going to be an amazing, yeah. So there's going to be an amazing vibe across the city anyway.
Yes.
And if you think of, let's say, the spiritual aspect of hurling,
Hmm.
so our is made from ash, and ash is a symbol of mastery,
Okay.
self-mastery. But ash was also what held the spirit of protection in Celtic times. So
Right.
it's interesting to have that, let's say, that spirit of hurling and protectiveness and all of that in the city at the same time that this is happening as well.
Yes. Would you
Uh,
know, I just did an interview, the last one I did this afternoon before this one, with a woman who her group is called Heart of Lemuria,
oh
and
wow.
she's in Wales and very connected to the land as well. A beautiful soul, and she was talking about ash trees in one of her posts there. So yeah, things are coming around. So for people that don't know what Hands Across Cork is about, can you give them a little outline?
Of course I can. Of course I can.
Sure.
Look, the many problems that we face in life is because of a disconnected people. When we look back at even past civilizations, you look at different, even tribes, indigenous people, what we, it's embedded in all of us. What we love is seeing a connected people
Yes.
unified together, right? And
Yes.
even on a microcosm, that's why we like sport. We're looking at this in sports teams and the whole lot. Like as people, we believe we live in a modern world now at the moment, but in truth, we still have a tribal brain,
Mm.
right? We're
Hmm.
still we're still tribal people, and that's why you're always looking for your tribe, people that you share similarities with, and all of the above.
Hmm.
So Hands Around Cork is kind of creating a tribe again of the love of Ireland and the spirit of the people.
Yes.
Truly unifying people as we're meant to be anyway. And if you look at, let's say, unfortunately, the evolution of the way the world went through colonization, through globalism, through all different things, what
Sure.
happens is it systematically disconnects the spirit of the people,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, um, not trying to make it sound bad, but unless we come together as a unified people, we become destroyed as individuals. So it's more
Sure.
important now than ever. And
Absolutely.
also, it's kind of the world that we want to live in. We want to live in a unified world. We want kids as well to be able to see, oh, wow, look what I'm growing up as part of.
Hmm.
And as we held hands and aim to surround the lock, that's what we're also doing. You're creating a collective community consciousness, and that's very important.
Yes.
So what I love most as well about what's happening in Cork is that's the kind of people are now starting to think and talk as a collective as we come closer to the time.
Mm.
And this is very important. And that's why it's important for, like, not me to project my intention on anybody or anything like that, but everyone to just come together as a collective. That's what's the most important thing. And
Right.
if you look at any tribal people, like we'll talk in a minute about indigenous tribes of the world, they
Sure.
all agree on this one thing. They all agree on this one thing. And if you think of it, unfortunately, in the world that we're living in, politics divides people, right?
Sure.
And unfortunately, it's in a way that if you support one political party, then you're against the other. So you're kind of enemies of this one.
Hmm.
And by doing so, it's kind of you're dividing people.
Yeah.
And you could consider political parties as marketing companies, and they're marketing the minds of people for their own benefit, but that doesn't benefit us. What
Yes.
benefits us is uniting people. No
Yeah.
matter what happens in the world, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Now, when you think of, let's say, unifying people in a collective like this,
Mhm.
there is there is a powerful energy that comes with that, right? And
hmm
that energy can be used to create, to heal, to manifest a whole lot. And that's why when we look at, let's say, religious teachings, that's why it's called going to mass, because mass is an energy. You're
mm
entering the mass of energy, you know?
hmm
So we need to restore our, let's say, indigenous spirit and mass of who we are.
hmm
That's extremely important. If we do not do that, we're only just kind of cannon fodder for the world, unfortunately.
hmm hmm
But what happens is when you start this, there's very old indigenous teachings too, that
Yeah,
it starts a snowball effect everywhere, you
sure,
know? And
sure.
we can see that happening, and you can see the amount of people who are so excited about what's happening in Cork on Saturday.
Yeah,
Trust me, a lot of people will cry.
yeah,
They will be because they're not used to that level of connectivity, you know.
yeah.
Also, a lot of people, even for the visual aspect, a lot of people that just see what's happening, that
Mm.
will have an effect on them too as well, you know. And this
Sure.
is and this is an effect, a positive effect that we want going forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, as we were chatting before we got started here, we're talking about the numbers of the last interview. I was asking you about that, and it just kind of took off.
Yeah.
Past 1,000 and maybe past two, and we don't know where it is now. But you were also right there in Cork, and you're chatting with people about this every day, of course. And you were telling me that people are really see it as a huge opportunity and getting very inspired and excited about it. So clearly, this is something that the timing is divine. And as you say, people want a chance to come together and be friends with each other and make peace and have a sense of community and support the common goals that we all share. So it's it's just very exciting how this is evolving so quickly. I'm sure it's going to be a big success. How did you get into all of this? To back up for a minute, talk about the lock in 2011 and how this came to you, how you come to be the guy carrying the flag for Ireland for the holding of the hands circles.
Yeah, all right, cool. I wouldn't see myself as the flag carrier or leader or anything like that, right? I would just have a very old understanding of the importance of uniting people, right?
Yeah.
When I grew up, my one of my oldest memories in life is actually my nan talking to me about Wolf Tone. So
Okay.
my nan, her name was Mary Tone, and that's the family of Wolf Tone, you know.
Okay.
So I kind of, and with my nan was always telling me about the importance of even, let's say, druids,
Sure.
the importance of very old wisdom. I had a very different understanding before I ever even went to school. I kind of,
Right.
even like when you come from the background of Wolf Tone, you understand more about history than the history teacher themselves in school, you know?
Can you tell?
Um,
Can you talk about who Wolf Tone is? I really, honestly, I've heard the name.
oh,
I don't know. Yeah.
all right, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Wolf Tone will be seen as the father of Irish republicanism,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of people would. So the statue in Cork that everyone's gathering around is this Wolf Tone is part of that statue.
Okay.
He was seen as one of the spiritual protectors of Ireland, right?
Okay. Very good.
So Wolf Tone was the leader of the United Irishmen.
hmm
What they wanted to do is they wanted to unite Catholics and Protestants and create their own constitutional republic in Ireland,
hmm
getting rid of the laws of the Holy Roman Empire from Ireland. So
Okay.
we'd have our own republic. And they were inspired by, let's say, the French Revolution and the
hmm
American Constitution, the whole lot. But
hmm
more importantly, going back to the Magna Carta.
Mm.
So the people of today only really understanding the importance of the Magna Carta. So I'll explain that first anyway.
Sure.
So the Magna Carta means the Great Charter, and this was the King John of England was keep on taking money from the all the nobility to finance Holy Roman Empire wars,
hmm
but then the they all gathered the nobility
hmm
and the rebel barons they were called, and they forced the hand of King John. They said, if you do not sign this, granting us rights that you cannot take anything off us, we have these rights. If you do not sign that, we're going supporting the King of France, and we're actually going to have you killed, and
Right.
we're going to obey the King of France. So they forced the hand of him, and
hmm
this document then became the Magna Carta, which became the fundamental of all human rights in the world.
Yes.
So all constitutions are based on the Magna Carta.
Hmm.
But then when you had the rebel barons, then after they signed it, they
Hmm.
had to go on the run because everyone came after them. They want he they King John wanted them killed, all of this, and they
Right.
disappeared to many different cities around the world, you know.
Oh,
And then they started teaching people on the concept of having your own, let's say, constitutional republic outside of the control of Holy Roman Empires, Vaticans, all that kind of stuff.
mhm. Yeah.
And interestingly enough, then the charter of the city of Cork is
Okay.
actually that was signed under the charter of King John. And that's why we have Shandon in Cork. Sean Doon in Irish means the fourth of John.
Okay.
So there's a massive history of human rights in Cork. So Cork is an amazing city in that
Hmm.
regard.
Hmm.
So the United Irishmen knew that Cork recognizes the Magna Carta
Hmm.
through it being developed under the charter of King John,
Hmm.
and so they pushed then for Magna Carta in Ireland.
Hmm.
But in order for the Magna Carta to work, then they needed to get rid of, like we were controlled by Britain at the time, and Britain were controlled by the laws of the Holy Roman Empire, and
Hmm.
that's why you swear on a Bible in court.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they wanted to get rid of that and create our own republic, uniting Catholics and Protestants. And he got this. Wolfe Tone became head of the French army under Napoleon,
Hmm.
and he had the support of Napoleon to come to Ireland, and he was starting a major rebellion in Ireland
Hmm.
to get rid of all this to create our own constitutional republic.
Hmm.
And interesting enough, he wanted us to be a neutral country. I know he had the rebellion, but his main thing is he wanted us to be neutral, no need for war.
Hmm.
Once you have your own republic, there's no need for you to be at war or anything with anybody else. Like as in,
Hmm.
like hurt people hurt people. So if you're not a hurt person, you won't be hurting any other people. That kind of a way.
Sure. Brilliant.
So
Brilliant.
growing up, I understood about constitutions and all of this, but
Hmm.
I also had a deep interest from a young age on
Hmm.
Brehon law, on old systems in Ireland, the whole lot, how we had systems of law in Ireland that were autonomous law.
Hmm.
Yeah, so when like how do I put it now? Even for people look at now the United Irish and wanting to get rid of the legal system in Ireland
Hmm.
and having our own native legal system. See, people see that as radical, but
Right.
in truth, it was only ever we had Breton law up until the 15th century. So
Hmm.
it's a new concept for us to be controlled by
Hmm.
foreign laws. And unfortunately, in Ireland at the moment, we are controlled by foreign laws. But very interesting. The spirit of Irish people is controlled by a different law, not controlled by like natural laws and all of the above.
Hmm.
So that's Brehon law.
Hmm.
Brehon law would be the understanding of how people naturally function together.
Hmm.
And in a way, because it's autonomous, it was not a centralized legal system.
Hmm.
So that's why foreign countries needed to get rid of that in order for us to be controlled
Hmm. Hmm.
controlled centrally. But
Right.
now we're living at a time where people are realizing that this does not serve them anymore, and we need to come back to our own, let's say, community ways of doing things
Hmm.
and coming together as yeah, like our own a proper working community.
Hmm.
But the let's say the stepping stones and how to build this beautifully, it's all part of Brehon law,
Yeah. Well,
which is amazing.
yes. I mean, the word is sovereignty, isn't it?
Sovereignty, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, mm,
Standing in sovereignty. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's brilliant. And the how all of these different movements, the movement for the Palestinians and the movement for about healing, creating peace with Russia and Ukraine, with Palestine and Israel, these huge conflicts that we all get moved by every day, and we know it's a big global mess, and more resources and lives keep being sacrificed in all of this. The working people of the world, are absolutely fed up and sick to death with,
totally.
being a part of all of that or being asked to be even a witness to it. So, we also have this great peace gathering just to bring it in, so people who see this would keep this in the back of their minds. It's June 10th, I think, at Dripsey Castle with Chief Phil Lane Jr. And are you sent that to me? Are you
Yeah.
Will you be there for that as well?
Oh, yeah, 100% I'll be there as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
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 totally. Yeah.
brilliant. Me too. And so it's like,
Good.
Jared, all of this coming together, converging, synchronicity. When you have an idea and people are excited about it and ready to throw in with you and come running for the chance to be a part of it. I think that the timing is divine. The winds are at your back. The
Yeah,
fates.
totally.
Yeah,
I'm 100% aware with that, and I'm gonna explain it from a different perspective
yeah,
too, right?
please do. Yeah.
So there's like we would talk about when you talk about indigenous people and let's say the history of the spirit of the natives of different lands, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
So it turns out that we all have a very similar prophecy. You could like we all go back to a different. We have a different explanation of the prophecy, but the prophecy would mainly be the same thing, right?
Right. Right.
So there is prophecy that when the time is right, the indigenous spirits of the world will get behind the spirit of Ireland,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
Ireland is seen as a an important place in the healing of the healing of the world.
Yeah.
And people are realizing that. Or you look at different. I don't really want to say people look at it through energy points and all that kind of stuff, But it's easier to like you could talk Ireland, all the waters of the world will go through Ireland, right? So
Hmm.
we touch everywhere energetically anyway, right?
Sure.
We had a history of it's not that Ireland is better than anyone, it's nothing like that, nothing
Right.
like
Right.
that.
Sure.
But it's that's what the prophecies will be about.
Hmm.
So that's the tribes coming together to get behind the spirit of Ireland, and they believe the time is right now. And if you look at it as well, this so that's why everything about Saturday is unite the tribe.
Hmm.
We've
Hmm.
the tribal leaders meeting from around the world, so
Hmm.
we're uniting the tribe before the meeting.
Hmm.
So this is all interconnected in many different ways, right?
Hmm.
And I'm not trying to. That's exactly what it is, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're uniting the tribe because if we want to figure things out and work with international tribes and groups, we need to be able to function as a tribe first. So we unite the tribe. That's
Yeah.
what we're doing. We're uniting the tribe and the spirit of the tribe in the most beautiful way, right?
Fantastic.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
And the time is now, you know.
Yes.
The time is now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Coming from the States, my friend, and having Irish ancestry and winding up living here for, 18 years now. And the little bit of the history that I have learned and the little bit of the
yeah,
language that I'm starting to understand and you know, so, I mean, what I didn't, Ireland has overcome slavery, uh,
everything.
famine, and
Yeah,
colonialization. Uh,
yeah,
like I think like no other country in the West that I'm aware of, and it really is that balance between
yeah, of
the,
course.
the races and the people of the world. It's pretty unique in many ways.
Yeah, and as well as that, we look at, let's say, the indigenous tribes. They went through the same pain and suffering as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And we realize that, like every the spirit of all nations hurt when anybody's been hurt. It's kind of the way
sure,
it is. We have the
sure,
similar pain
yeah,
as the like different tribal nations around the world, right? But also you could also say it and look at it from a different perspective as well. Like when we look at Ireland, when we look at let's say the history, the spiritual god forms and figures. Let's say you go back as far as the Tuatha Danann, right?
right, okay.
The Tuatha Danann. Have you heard about the Tuatha Danann?
Yes, but feel free
So
to explain that to me and my audience as well, if you would.
yeah, they would be the spiritual tribes of Ireland, right?
Yes,
Going back a very long time. I don't want. I could have a whole talk about this. This to me is the important part, right?
yes, yes.
And obviously, when we talk about prophecies and we hear prophecies of different tribes around the world, to me, the important prophecy is the prophecy of the Bow Darug. And the Bow Darug would have been the Munster king of the Tuatha Danann.
Okay.
And the prophecies that you're hearing from different tribes around the world, these are prophecies that we have known in Ireland also, just we have been told these prophecies in a different way, but
Hmm.
it's the same thing. And
Hmm.
also when you look at, let's say, the destruction of Ireland, there's very deep spiritual teachings of this too as well. When we were taking over and then you had different nobilities, all different leaders and all that, and they were kicked out of Ireland as we were being colonized, right?
Right.
You can go back to Book of Invasions, you can go back to a lot of other stuff, right?
Hmm.
But then you had these, and this is very ancient It's part of mythology. It's part of the whole
Right.
lot. And you
Right.
had these spirits then leaving Ireland
Mhm.
and being kicked out and being going around the world. And when you have like the tribe coming back, when I'm going to welcome them home.
Yeah.
Welcome home.
Yeah.
This is the ancestry of the people of um
Yeah.
this is ancestors uniting basically, you know.
Yes. Yes.
And it needs to be seen and honored as such too as well.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. So we would have the same prophecies as well. And
Mm.
we look Irish, still a tribal spirited people, and that's why you
Yeah.
look at, let's say, look at the GAA hurling, all of that. We function like a tribe, right?
Sure.
But
Sure.
unfortunately, when you try to break down that tribe, that becomes trauma then. And you
Sure.
look at the different traumas, and traumas manifested in mainly addiction, you know? Let's
Yeah.
say through alcohol abuse, through different things, you know?
Sure.
But again, once you unite the tribes, you head towards healing is
Yeah.
basically the way
Yeah.
forward, you know?
Yeah. No, you're saying it beautifully. I mean, I'm here, Jer, because there are extraordinary healers and teachers of wisdom in this country, and I
Yeah,
have a lot to learn from you and from all of my friends here. And and this is that time, as we're saying, you know,
yeah,
when the teachings and the sacred knowledge and the Shanakis and the messengers, will be listened to in a whole deeper and different way, because the modern world, as you're describing, has broken all of its promises basically to keep us safe and to help us stay in good healthy communities and lead good healthy lives. We know that all of those things are under stress and under attack these days.
yeah. And you also like obviously the system doesn't serve us anymore. It doesn't benefit us, but also it's kind of the best way to look at this in life is cyclical, right? And the problem is the solution too as well. So
Yeah.
it's because of the problems that we have today, that's why there's a vacuum and a demand for what I'm doing in the city with getting people holding hands surrounding the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, in a way, this wouldn't happen unless we went through all these different problems
Sure.
anyway. So
Sure.
it's like it's very cyclical, and it's kind of that's the way it is. Everything is cyclical in this life. You look at the cosmos, you look at how everything spins, you look at the cycles of nature, all of that. There's also a cycle of consciousness, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
As we come together and we evolve in this way. And it looks like, let's say, I believe we were a very more intelligent people a long time ago,
I agree.
especially when you understand the in-depth workings of, let's say, you understand Brehon law, how advanced Brehon law is, and not even that. Looking at the native Irish alphabet, the native Irish alphabet is a very very intelligent thing. Like every letter in the native Irish alphabet would derive from the name of a tree.
Right. Right.
2 seconds there now. Oh, I had doors closed. So the meaning of that's a small flittering again. So the
Sure.
meaning of every letter then would be the teachings of the tree, the
Right.
characteristics of the tree, and so it'd be very much a language of nature.
Yes, yes. Well, these are, as you're saying, my friend, these are the eternal truths. The mystery schools, the hidden teachings, and the temples themselves. The buildings and the structures and the stone circles, around the world that are there for thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah.
With the messages to help us stay strong and to keep us coming together and looking to solve and the mysteries of life and help each other to overcome the challenges. And really, as you're saying about the cycles, to come back to spirit. I mean, the Kali Yuga from the Hindu teachings, was 12,000 years of forgetfulness and darkness, and that I believe has just ended as of the
Yeah.
spring equinox of this year. So now
Yeah.
we're coming into I think it's the Sasha Yuga, which is light and truth and knowledge. And people are hungry and thirsty after wisdom and knowledge, is my phrase, if they have any sense at all. And we all have something to offer each other, and I believe that's why we're on planet Earth right now, and especially wherever we find ourselves in these powerful times. To look around as you're doing and call everyone together, and how can we help each other? How can we serve each other?
Totally. And if like also there's a lot of things about Ireland that not many people might be, a lot of people are aware of, but people are becoming more aware all the time. Let's say with different important sacred sites around Ireland. Let me give you an introduction to, let's say, this maybe the spirit of Eiru, let's just call it, right?
Please. Yeah.
So the people of Ireland used to see the land as living, the spirit of the land itself. So
Yeah.
Eiru is the land, right?
Right.
So let's look at let visualize the Ireland for a moment, right? As in, like some people say, it's in the shape of a teddy bear,
Okay.
or some people say it's in the shape of a fetus, so to speak,
Okay.
right?
Yes. Right.
So let's for a moment look at the energy points on that, and I'll give you let's decipher Ireland, so to speak, through
Okay.
looking at
Sure.
a very advanced environmental scientific way, you know?
Okay.
So let's say we talk about, let's say, the base chakra in many different teachings. You'd have the energy points, and these would be glands of the human body that secrete hormones, you know?
Yeah.
And these hormones have an effect on us. And
Yep.
if we really want to heal as people, it's a hormonal thing to bring back balance and
Right.
all of the above.
Right.
So like the what you would refer to in, let's say, yoga teachings or anything, that would be the base chakra, the
Mhm.
point where all energy rises,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
the base chakra is Cork. That's why
Okay.
Cork is known as the Rebel County. That's where it is, you know.
Right. Right.
The feet will be West Cork. That's why West Cork is a very grounded place,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So as we go up through the body, let's say the Galway or Connacht will be the hands, right? The
Okay.
flag of Connacht is the hands, but that's what Connacht is anyway. Connacht is the hands, you know. You
Okay.
look at different parts of like what people call, let's say in um, Chinese, Tai Chi means they would know as the Dantian. So the
Hmm.
Dantian would be near your navel, right?
Hmm.
And the
Hmm.
Dantian will be where in Chinese martial arts teaching, where you can bring energy from the outside of the body in, but where you can also bring energy from the inside out. And
Right.
they believe that is one of the most important places.
Yep.
This in Ireland would be on the Limerick-Tipperary border. There's a very important place. People talk about Newgrange, but Old Grange is around there. It's
Okay.
not. It's a very beautiful place, and it was a place kept sacred even by the Butlers of Ormond. And the Butlers of Ormond were the leaders of the Knights Templar when they had control over Ireland. So
Okay.
they even had a lot of their sacred ceremonies and all of that on this place in the navel of Ireland, you know?
Is this the hill of Usnok?
No, Uisneach is above it. Some
Ushnock.
people, yeah. So
Yeah.
like you'd have in Limerick, you'd have the Tomb of Eiru. You'd have many other things that
Okay.
we don't necessarily want them to be too made too public
Right.
because you don't want McDonald's next door to it and all of that. So a lot of people in Ireland are actually driving down the road and they're driving past some of the most sacred sites on the planet and they
Sure.
don't know about it. And that's part of the beauty of Ireland too, as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let's say you look at the navel, then you've Uisneach, the where people go, the ceremonial centre of Ireland,
Right.
as well. You'd have Belfast would be the subconscious mind,
Okay.
which makes a bit of sense when you think of it as constantly fighting with itself and all of the above, you know?
Okay.
You'd have Derry. Derry in Irish is called Dira, which means the tree, the oak tree.
Mm.
And that's also the crown. See, but in Irish, crown, Crann, means like the crown energy point. So looking at Ireland as a living land,
Right.
that's how ancient societies seen Ireland. And
Beautiful.
that's why they're seen as every part of it is sacred. Like most rivers in Ireland would be named after god forms or all these kind of things because they really held the land in reverence, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you could argue too, we joke amongst ourselves that like Dublin is like where the point where you would grip a child. Like
Mm.
if a child is running away from you, you'd grab them by the back. And that's
Okay.
where Dublin is as well, you know? So
Okay.
looking like awakening people to looking at the land in this realm is actually what we're meant to be doing, you know?
Hmm.
There's reasons as well why Dripsy in Cork, why people are going there. It's a lot to do with water and all of the above.
Right.
Also, there's a lot of history in the area of, let's say, there's a lot of stone circles. There's a lot of mythology in the area too. There
Hmm.
will be a lot of fairy circles, all this kind of stuff. So it's a very important area too as well. But it's really kind of base chakra stuff, and a lot of stuff would always start in Cork. That's why.
Beautiful. Is there do we have a place for the heart of Ireland?
Right, so you're talking around kind of the Boyne Valley and stuff like that,
Okay. Okay.
mainly,
Okay.
which makes sense also, right?
Okay.
So your heart, if you're looking from the side, is
Right.
in, right? So it's, yeah, looking at it like that.
Okay.
Um, but you love everything. You don't love one part more than the other, all of the above. You know what I
Sure,
mean?
sure, sure, sure.
So I'm just kind of, I suppose, just trying to awaken a small bit of
Yeah,
love and reverence for the land as being a living entity in what we're meant to be doing anyway.
yes,
Even the picture that I have here behind me of
mm,
people holding hands surrounding the lock, that's the
yes.
lock in Cork. So that's a very important place too as well, in this regard, you know? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why gathering around the lock is important too, you know?
yes, yes, yes. It is just breathtaking, my friend. There's
Yeah.
so much there. It's just beautiful to be introduced to it by your
Yeah.
good self.
I'll recite a poem for you that I wrote,
Please,
right?
yes,
That'll
lovely,
make a bit more sense of this, right?
perfect.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who has got a pair of balls at all? I see a people on their knees, not realizing they are as powerful as trees. Power comes from deep below, and it's into this power true warriors grow. A people fooled by politics galore until one just man says, no more. For into such power he will stand, invoking the ancestors of his land. Aligned with the cosmos in all its parts, true power exists in awakening people's hearts. A nation of warriors is about to be awoken. The beating heart of Eiru was never broken. For the heart of our ancestors beats in you. This is not philosophy, my friend. This is true.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Is that yours or who wrote that?
That's mine. That's
Oh,
mine.
very good,
It just
very
came
good.
to me there one day. Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
So I think it's very important as well to I suppose return a small bit of Druid sensitivity to Ireland, you know,
Yeah,
when it comes to like these are people who kind of who had an understanding of the spirit realm and how to do things in natural laws with the land that we live in too as well.
hmm,
You know, I think this is very important and yeah, that's part of the spirit of the land too as well, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, I have no doubt that this is going to be a huge turning point for this country and for all of us that are privileged to know about it and be a part of it on Saturday. And I
Mm.
simply cannot wait.
Yeah,
I'm,
totally.
yeah,
Same. It's going to
brilliant.
be beautiful, you know?
Yes, yes, yes. So we'll keep it short but sweet, I think, one more
Yep.
time, just to
Yep.
keep everyone focused here. Is there anything you haven't mentioned or you'd like to share before we sign off?
Not really. I think everything is working the way it should be anyway, you know. And I think again, sometimes with me, I can be so in depth in this that when it comes to just speaking to the normal person, I can nearly blow them away and freak them out. And in a way too, as well, like to be able to communicate with somebody, it needs to be done in the simplest way possible. So keeping it simple is what's important to me.
Sure.
The and that's it, you know. And
Yeah.
like I look forward to. I can't wait for Saturday. It's gonna be lovely, you know what I mean? And you've so much there could be a lot of people there.
I think so.
Like if
Yeah.
oh wow, if you understand how energy and consciousness and all of that works, right?
Yes.
If we can get thousands of people
Yeah.
to circle the city of Cork,
Yeah.
holding hands in a united intention,
Hmm.
oh wow,
Yeah.
you've probably changed the direction of the country at that point.
Absolutely.
You've probably done more healing for the next generations that
Hmm.
we don't even know about yet, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And when it talks, let's say we unite people around Cork, right? And yeah, I understand how beautiful it is for all of us as well. But imagine how the rest of the world will see this. People already, the whole world is already looking at Ireland.
Yeah.
They're kind of the whole, we influence the world, whether we like to
Sure.
acknowledge it or not. So let's say when world media sees what the Irish people have united in this realm, oh wow. And like apparent like one of the best ways to do it as well is
Mm-hmm.
even just to hold hands and do it in complete silence.
Sure. Sure.
That'd be the most powerful thing you could do, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
If we held hands like that, like we are honoring and respecting our ancestors in ways that we are only slowly realizing, you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
when we talk about sovereignty, and that's the most important word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sovereignty is not even is yes, it's living, it's about our love and bond with the land. It's about our power as well.
Yes.
But sovereignty is also the spirit of the people who have gone before us, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
That's very important too as well, you know?
Of course.
So if you understand, let's say the spiritual realm of it, when I'm standing there, um, I will be in empty mind, as in like I will be in empty mind, and I will be standing there honoring the ancestors of my land and watching the beauty of people coming together in a unified field like that, you know?
Hmm.
Also, when you talk about, let's say, the power that has on the environment, messages in water, water consciousness, all of that, the city of Cork is based on water. It's an island, you know?
Hmm.
Even the River Lee itself, Lay means poem or song.
Oh,
So it's like if we spoke Irish language, all this would make more sense to everybody.
sure.
Like, and that's what we're going back to, I suppose. You look at the spirit of the land and you talk about the Irish language, and let's say we lost a lot of our spirit when we stopped speaking our own language. But you can see the love for the Irish language now coming back, and
Sure.
there's a demand for it now more than ever. And
Hmm.
same with people to unify. And I'm only a witness of all this, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's all. And like I guess we started a lot of people in my area. It's not me. It's a lot of people in my area started this about 11 years ago, and we've seen it grow. So for us now, it's like wow, wow,
Hmm.
this is amazing. And also like now, if we can do something so beautiful in Cork, the rest of the country is just going to follow suit. And it
Oh,
this is foretold in Brehon law as well. Like the spirit just grows. You know what I mean?
yes.
And if we can unite people like that, I believe we're heading back towards Brehon law, where we become a bit autonomous in our own realm too, as well, you know, and
Yeah.
being able to function. Then at that point, I suppose you could say the political world have to listen to us because we're now a unified people, you know.
Yes.
And I believe this is very important.
Yes, my friend. I couldn't agree more. What comes to my mind, Jared, as we're wrapping up here, brother, is the Irish, I believe, have sacrificed everything and given everything
Mm,
for their freedom and for to live in a freer world. And this is uh, the next step, for
totally.
humanity to take our power back. Would you agree?
100%,
Yeah.
100%. And that's why it's even like you become um empowered by seeing other people standing in their power.
Yes.
Right? And
Exactly.
that's what sovereignty is too. You're standing in your power. Sovereignty, I suppose, in what we call the legal realm today, means absolute power. All right?
Yeah.
Whoever holds sovereignty.
Yeah.
Now, getting everybody to stand in their sovereignty, surrounding an entire city, wow. Like,
Exactly.
so from that point on, like the political world are always trying to avoid the conversation on sovereignty. They don't want to talk about it.
Sure.
They don't want to admit different powers in Ireland. So
Yeah.
if everyone is standing in their sovereignty as a symbol of sovereignty, the
Yeah.
whole world now has to talk about Irish sovereignty from that point on.
Yes.
Because we symbolize it, right? So
Yes.
how can you, from that point on, how can you talk about Irish sovereignty and not talk about the people when the people have stood and unified like that? And if you stand unified like that, once you are human, you will be inspired to do the same.
Yes.
But
Amen.
this is also, there's many different dimensions to it. Unite the tribe, yes, but also inspire the world like we're meant to be doing anyway, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
And we'll do it in the best way possible, you know?
I have no doubt, my friend. Bless you. Let me just read your statement here. Unite the tribe, raise up Eiru on June 7th at 3:45, starting at the National Monument on Grand Parade, standing in sovereignty. We aim to have 4,000 or more people holding hands to create a human chain through Cork City. When thousands of people come together, united with one shared focus, it creates a resonant field of intention. Human intention, especially when aligned, has a powerful and positive emotional, psychological, physical, and energetic and spiritual, may I add, impact that ripples through the communities. It's going to be incredible, my friend. Thank you
Incredible,
so
yeah.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
I'll see you Saturday.
See you
And
Saturday. Thank you for your time.
my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Up
Thank
the
you.
Irish and up the world, my friend. Yeah.
Totally.
Okay. Thanks, Jared.
Thank
Blessings.
you.
Okay.